our regular school board meeting to order. Diana, will you do roll call?
Marcia White.
Here.
Nicole Harris. Andrea Usry. Here. Andy Luther. Stephen Lindsay. Ann Hewson. Here. Kelly Ropers. Here.
Thank you. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
And to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm turning the meeting over to Dr. Wilcox for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. White. We would like to take a moment to thank our Board of Education members for their service to our entire learning community. Their selfless dedication to our students, staff, and community does not go unseen, and we appreciate everything you do on behalf of Beach Park School District 3. Being a board member of education is a true labor of love, advocating on behalf of the entire learning community. It is my honor to serve next to each and every one of you. On your table, you should have a basket from all of us and a card. And Ms. White, I handed her some student letters as well as a couple posters that are behind us from some students in Beach Park School District 3, thanking you for what you do on behalf of them every day. We also, after the board meeting, instead of getting cake this time, we decided to get crumble cookies. And we got a special cookie cutter so we could cut them into quarters because they're quite large. So please stay and enjoy some cookies with us at the end of the board meeting tonight. So board, Ms. Contreras was kind enough to create a giant packet for you about the joint conference that is happening this weekend. So what we need to talk about is what we would like to attend, because we received invitations to a lot of different things. I believe Diana listed all of the things. Hold on, what page is it on, Diana? It's on the last pages? Table of contents. Oh, geez, I forgot about that. You're correct. It's towards the back. Yeah, on Friday and Saturday on the table of contents, all the events that we've been invited to are on there. Friday, we will go from the hotel. We'll all walk together to Fogo de Chao. That's the big luncheon that we do. Then we will all attend the first keynote speaker that evening. And then we have lots of events to attend Friday night. So would you like to discuss what you'd like to attend, or would you like to talk about it Thursday night via text? You tell me. We were invited to a dinner Friday night, but only 10 people can go with Mr. Seda. We have the Franzik, which is our law firm. They have an event for us. The House of Blues has an event. We were added to a few extra things from our service learning project that Ms. Usry, myself, and Ms. Brito went on. So there's 2 things that we're invited to Friday night for that. So again, we can talk now, or we can talk via text Thursday.
I would say Thursday, only from the standpoint, everyone here for a meeting, not to talk about our conference. And we could probably get out of here earlier if we don't spend a long time talking about the weekend.
All right, we will do that. I would just like to talk about our school summative designation for just a brief moment. Last week, I sent out a communication to the entire district, including the Board of Education. We had 2 of our schools identified as comprehensive this year, Beach Park Middle School and Howe Elementary. This means we will be in a planning year this year, and we have been assigned someone from the state to plan how we will move our schools out of comprehensive to commendable or above. This also means the district will receive grant funding to support the improvement plan we develop. Currently, our data dashboard does not have the correct information on it, so I want everyone to know that because it currently says our enrollment is 147 students. We're working on getting that fixed. I have a meeting on November 21st with someone from the state in order to fix our data dashboard. At a future board meeting, my leadership team and I will be giving a presentation on our designations and our plans to become commendable or exemplary in the future. Does anyone have any questions? If you recall, we actually had 3 schools that were targeted: Beach Park Middle School, Howe, and Oakcrest. Howe came off of that last year and were considered commendable. So did Oakcrest. However, this year, Howe is back on and it's considered comprehensive. Last thing, I just want to give everybody an update. The district office will be closed the week of November 22nd through the 24th for Thanksgiving break. We have parent-teacher conferences on Tuesday, November 21st, and they are from 12 to 7:05 p.m. And that is all for my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Wilcox. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Dinah, roll call.
Stephen Lindsay,
Aye.
Kelly Ropers, Nicole Harris,
Aye.
Marcia White,
Aye.
Ann Fusen,
Aye.
Andrea Usry.
Aye.
Okay. Do I have any correspondence? Thank you. Any questions on old business? Enrollment report or discipline report?
Nothing. I had one question with the discipline report for Beach Park Middle School, how the numbers jumped so greatly.
I will get an answer for you and for your question, Ann. I will send an email to the entire board.
Okay. Any other questions on old business? Not. Long-range planning?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Luther's not able to make it this evening, so I'll provide a brief report. We did meet last week. We met over at the Oak Crest School to tour the progress being made on the preschool. It is making good progress. However, it is slow and behind schedule, like every construction project, it seems, nowadays. But a lot of work is going to be getting done in this next week with nice weather. Much of the exterior was prepped and is supposed to be getting done. We got a report both in Jose's director's report and in our weekly update. We're also working on a plan for the last 2 replacement units here at the middle school and a comprehensive maintenance plan for the district. So a lot of work, but no major update this month.
Any questions for long-range planning? Thank you. Finance Committee report.
Good evening, everyone. We met last week for the Finance Committee. We met on November 9th, and we discussed the proposal for the tax levy. We also met this evening, and we reviewed all of the bills, and we approved the bills and reviewed all of the expenditures for the month. And that is all I have.
Any questions for finance? All right. CEDAW.
Did not meet this month, will meet next month.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on the building reports? All right. Any questions or comments on the department reports?
So now I'll break.
All right. I'm going to turn the meeting over to Frank Adams, Director of Business, for our tentative levy presentation.
Tonight we're presenting the 2023 tentative levy. The levy is the amount requested by a governmental entity to be raised by property taxes to cover the year's expenses. As inflation increases, as community members, we all have to pay more for goods and services. Well, that's the same for the district. The school district has to pay those inflationary increases as well. And the levy is kind of where we raise our revenue. I'd like to go through a little bit of background first. So not that long, the district was having to take out loans to called tax anticipation warrants. And we had to take those out because we couldn't make it to our payroll every year, waiting for the property taxes to come in. So that we didn't have sufficient funds to be able to make it throughout the whole year. So we had to take out loans. We've been able to correct that, and we want to continue going down that road. Some other things are we've had ESSER funding, which has really helped us for the past few years. So since 2011, we've had $5.4 million in ESSER funding. That funding ends this year, so we won't be receiving that anymore. These funds enabled us to provide Chromebooks to all the students and all the staff so we could do the e-learning while we were in remote learning through COVID. These are things that we're going to have to sustain. Every 3 years we're going to have to replace, or whatever our replacement cycle may be, which is usually 3 years. We're going to have to replace these units, and we're no longer going to have that ESSER funding to be able to do that. Also with ESSER funding, we were able to provide after-school activities for the students, and we were able to provide summer school for the students. That's something else that we want to sustain because really benefits our students, and that's what we're really trying to do is look out for the students and all their needs. So that funding will no longer be available. We also had to hire approximately 20 new staff this year to meet the increasing needs of the students. And we're probably going to have to continue increasing our staff to meet the growing needs and demands, growing enrollment. So again, we want to do what's best for our students. Also, over the past 4 years, in an effort to save money for our taxpayers, the district purposely under-levied and zero levy increases for 2 of the 3 years. The district will never be able to recoup that money, but it was intentional, trying to look out for our taxpayers. The number that we to date did not receive and will not be able to compound on was $2.7 million. This isn't sustainable, the zero levying and levying below what we're entitled to, because we have to pay our inflationary increases as well. It's something maybe we can do again in the future, but feel that this year we need to get what the district is entitled to. So right now we're going to be asking for the 5% plus new growth, which is the PTEL that allows us to ask for. And I'll get into that in a little more detail later. In addition, as far as expenses go, we've been formally asked to go out to bid for transportation services, so we're going to have to do that. And we have to go out to bid for food services. We've had waivers for the last few years through COVID, through ISB, to be able to extend our contracts with our food service program, but all those waivers have ended, and this year we have to go out to bid. These are both multi-million-dollar contracts that could, because we have to go out to bid, increase up to 20-30%, worst case scenario. Seen a lot go up 15%, seen some go up 34%. So it's something that we don't know yet, but it's definitely going to go up. The amount we don't know. So really that's with the ESSER funds were $5.4 million. So it's really $8.1 million over the past 4 years that we're not going to see anymore. So the district finance committee, just gave us a report. Appreciate that. It's made up of administrators and board members. it scrutinizes over the district's finances. I'd like to thank the board for their diligence and their oversight. We don't just rubber stamp whatever is presented to them. You guys take a lot of time and diligence to scrutinize over everything and make sure we're doing what's right for the district and the community. Before I get to the specifics of the 23 levy, I want to go through some timelines and some definitions. So the timeline is, well, this is my tax levy calendar. So tonight, the board meeting approves a proposed levy to be published in the newspaper. The proposed levy and notice of the hearing will be published between 11/27 and 12/4. My target date is 11/28. So I'll be requesting it be in the paper tomorrow. By law, taxing agencies must hold a hearing if the levy is 5% or greater increase over the previous year's extension. Our levy is 5%, over 5% over last year, so we will be holding a hearing on December 11th at the Board of Education meeting. And then the levy must be filed with the county clerk by the last Tuesday in December. So approving the levy is the most important financial action of the year. As you can see, the majority of our revenues come through property taxes, 52%, and other is 48%. And local, as you see, is 2%, and that's just like registration fees and tuition. State is through evidence-based funding. The new state formula that was initiated in 2017 has really helped out the district and really helped us not have to use the tax anticipation warrants that we were using in the past. So that's been a real help. And federal is just from grants like the National School Lunch Program, IDEA grants, and the title grants, plus in this scenario, ESSER 2 and ESSER 3. So what's the difference between the levy and the extension? The levy is the amount we're asking for. The extension is what we're actually going to receive. It's calculated by the county clerk based on the assessor's property assessments, CPI, Consumer Price Index, and new property in the district. So CPI, to help understand the levy, I wanted to give you some define some terms that we use. CPI is the Consumer Price Index for December of the previous year. It's set by the Bureau of Labor and Statistics to measure inflation. This year's CPI is 6.5%. But with PTEL, which I'll talk a little bit about in a minute, we're limited to 5. Existing property, this is all the existing property that's in the district, not any new homes that were built or new additions to homes. It's just what was existing last year. And then there's new growth, and that is all the new construction, new homes, any additions to homes that will be coming on the tax rolls next year. EAV, or the Equalized Assessed Valuation, is the total value of all the properties assessed in the district, all added up together. This is unknown. We won't know this until spring. So each parcel of property is assessed at its fair market value. And all the individual property values in the district added up together make our total EAV. When the EAV increases, it doesn't mean that we're going to get more dollars for the district. It means when the EAV increases, Lake County clerk lowers the tax rate. So how much does property value change the taxes? Of all factors, the equalized assessed valuation is the strongest driver of tax rates. If the EAV, it has a inverse relationship to the tax rate. If the EAV goes up, the tax rate goes down. If the EAV goes down, the tax rate goes up. I'd just like to show kind of what that looks like. This is Beach Park's EAV and tax rate. So the blue line is our equalized assessed value, and the orange line is our tax rate. So you can see our EAV has been consistently going up and the tax rate has consistently been going down. They mirror each other. And this is just, it's from a neighboring district. I just wanted to, since ours is so consistent, I wanted to show what it kind of looked like in a more inconsistent district where you can really see how it mirrors, they mirror each other. So the property tax extension limitation law. Why do we ask for more than the limit? The property tax extension limitation law is actually something that you might have heard referred to as the tax cap. This was enacted in Lake County in 1991. And the law limits the increase of property taxes to the CPI or 5%, whichever is lower. This year, CPI is 6.5%, so we are limited to the lower of 5. This is supposed to allow the district to cover any ongoing inflationary costs. So why do we ask for more than the limit of 5%? We have to assume, since we don't know what the EAV is yet, and we don't know what the new property growth is yet. So, and we're not going to know that until after the levy has to be filed in December. So we have to estimate, and we have to estimate higher than CPI to ensure that we capture any new property growth in the district. New property growth is ultimately going to be determined by the Lake County assessor, and since we don't know it yet, we have to estimate it because it's not going to be spring. That's much later than when, this last Tuesday in December when we have to file the levy. There's no penalty for guessing, or not guessing, but estimating too high, but there is for estimating too low. If we estimate too low, we're going to miss out on capturing any of the new property or new revenue that we could be receiving, and we'll miss out on that forever. So the Lake County Treasurer, they're not going to give us what we asked for. Even if we ask for way too high, they're going to calculate it and only give us what we're entitled to. But if we ask for not enough, we ask too low, too little, they're not going to increase it. They're only going to give us what we ask for. So we don't want to miss out on what we're entitled to. That's why we estimate what the new growth is going to be. So here's some important points to remember that, and we can only ask for 5% over last year's extension for existing property. And that's due to the PTEL law. It said the CPI is 6.5, but we're limited to 5%. There's no limit on new growth, and that's the new property. We're asking more than we're going to receive, and we need to estimate high so that we don't miss out on any of the new property that we don't know what it is yet. And so that new property also wouldn't affect existing property owners. It's the people who have built a new home or put an addition on. That's who that would affect. So this chart illustrates the proposed tax levy for 2023. The column shaded in red includes the levy as it's been prepared for the board tonight, and it represents a 4.63 total increase over the 2022 extension. This includes our bonds and interest levy. So the aggregate levy is 5.26, but then our bond payments decreased from last year, so that's going to decrease what our what our levy is. So it's expected that the county clerk's going to reduce our extension once the EAV and the new property are known for 2023. This chart depicts kind of what we had tax objections, and I wanted to calculate what our fund balance to expenditure ratio is. So I created a spreadsheet that would calculate what our fund balances plus what our tax receipts for the year are going to be, and compare that to the average of the last 3 years of expenditures. That's how they calculate what your ratio is. And if it's more than 2.5%, people can file tax objections, and we had that happen to us. So moving forward, be using this every year during budgeting time, during levy time, making sure that we don't carry too much in our fund balances. And so this year we did kind of levy differently in some of the different funds to make sure that the ones that were too low, we increase a little bit, and the ones that were too high, we decrease. This is just our fund balances for each fund that were used for calculating this year's ratio. The fund balances are the numbers all the way to the right, and the negatives do not mean it's negative. It's the way the software calculates it. It puts a minus sign in front of it. They're actually positive. So then the truth in taxation. This requires the district to schedule and announce a public hearing if the estimated tax levy is 5% or greater over last year's extension. Our estimated aggregate levy, that's not including the bonded interest. Like I said, the bonded interest is the 4.63. Without the bond interest, our levy is 5.23%. Therefore, we have to have a public hearing. And the hearing's going to be, like I said, at the December 11th Board of Education meeting. So we'll be asking the board to approve the Director of Business to publish notice of the estimated levy in the newspaper. And the next steps are that we publish the hearing at the December 13th board meeting. We publish that in the paper. We hold a public hearing at the December 13th meeting to approve the final 2023 levy, and then we file it with the Lake County Clerk by the last Tuesday in December. So just in interest, I didn't have it in the slides, but just in an interest to people are curious, I did do some calculations on what it might look like if for some different home values. But I have to prerequisite this, it's an estimate. It's the Cook County Clerk that does these calculations, and there's different variables that go into it. So this is an estimate just to give you an idea of what a proposed increase might look like to a property value, a property owner. So if your home, say it was $150,000, the proposed increase would look like $15.26 increase over what last year's property taxes were for Beach Park. $250,000 home, the increase over last year would be $81.32. And if the $350,000 home, your increase would be about $147.37. That's just to give you an idea. It's not anything in stone, or it's just so I could give you an idea, a feeling of where it would be. But it's the Cook County Clerk that will, Lake County Clerk that will, I swore I wasn't going to do that tonight, but I did. I worked in a Cook County district for 7 years and lived in one for 55 years. So Cook comes out too easily. Lake County. So I just wanted to give you an idea. And that's my presentation. And if anybody has any questions from the board.
Ooh, can I go? Thank you. This is always a tough one. Everybody's faced with rising costs of everything. I can remember when eggs went from $1 a dozen to $3-4 a dozen, back down to $1 a dozen. I'm in a pension that's frozen for the next 3 years. I will receive no raise in my income whatsoever. But we do have income raises, or not income, we have cost raises here at the district. Everything's going up by CPI at 6.5%. I'm quickly looking and I realized last year, Social Security went up 8+%. If I'm not mistaken, we kept our levy at 0. So my question directly.
Last year we kept it at 3 when we could have done 5.
Okay, 3. If you could provide us with the last 5 or 6 years of the levy so that we all have that information as well. I know it can't be done right now.
Yeah, sure.
But I think that's important because since we asked the taxpayers for a referendum years ago, we as a board that have been here vowed we wouldn't increase, and we held true to that for a long time. We lost $8 million is what I heard tonight by doing that. We lost that into our income.
2.7 for doing that. The other 5.4% was from ESSER funds.
Okay. So yeah, for me, it's if I can again see that we did hold true to our zeros for a while or ones. I mean, we went back and forth and all that because again, it is a hard thing to ask taxpayers for more because everybody's asking us for more, and I for one am fixed on my income. So we can just have that before our vote next month. I would appreciate it.
For sure.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Use your mic.
Use my inside voice.
And I got to use it too.
Yes. It's a small thing that we talked about in the beginning, the lunch program going out for bid. Am I remembering this correctly, pre-COVID and all the stuff that went with it, that we were part of a program with the state where the kids were not being charged for lunch? Or am I incorrect? And is that gone?
No, that's called the Community Eligibility Program, CEP. We're still involved in that. So the children, no student has to pay for lunch.
Okay.
We get reimbursed by the state.
Okay.
Hey, Frank, I have one question. If you can just clarify what we're actually asking for and then a 4.63%.
Yeah. So over last year's extension, we are asking for all our aggregate funds, which are our operating funds, which don't include bond and interest, 5.26%. But then we also have to levy for bond and interest. The bond and interest payment went down this year over last year. So when we add that to our levy, it decreases the 5.26% for our total levy, not just the aggregate, the total levy to be 4.26.
Okay, so I should just focus on the 4.63%.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for the number.
Can we continue a little more clarification there as well?
Yep.
Just because we're asking for 4.63% more money, that's what we're asking for. I don't want taxpayers to believe that that might be all that their taxes go up. Because a lot of times people are told the majority of their taxes are school taxes. So when we say we're asking for 4.64, or let's rough it up, 5% new monies, they may be paying more than that. They may be paying less than that, depending on how much their home value changes. Is that a correct statement?
That is a correct statement. It'll be based on, like, when I kind of showed you what the tax rate and the EAV would be, if your EAV on your individual home increases, you're going to have to take on burden of more of the taxes. And it also is not just Beach Park, it would be other, taxing districts as well. I just want to make, like, those numbers I was giving you weren't your total tax increase. That's just for Beach Park.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll continue on. Any other questions with the department's directors? For yours.
I'll just add one more little thing. Congrats to all our staff, especially our Director of Human Resources, on keeping our staffing in place. We see a shortage throughout, and to see that we're only short, I believe, one full-time position in district right now, that's phenomenal. Hats off to everybody that's doing that great job of getting us good staff. It was great to read that we've got a line on more staff for next year already. We know we've got retirements, and everybody's working hard at it. I know tonight we're all about money, but hey, these guys are looking out for our future as well and getting us some great new staff in, and that's fantastic. So congrats. Thank you, everybody.
Definitely. All right, moving on to first reading of press policies. Any questions? Do you have any questions or comments from visitors? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn to closed session for the purpose of discussing the appointment, employment, composition, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Nicole Harris.
Aye.
Andrea Usry.
Aye.
Stephen Lindsay.
Aye.
Kelly Ropers.
Aye.
Ann Fusen.
Aye.
Marcia White.
Aye. We are going into closed session. Thank you, everyone. open session. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Diana?
Kelly Ropers, Stephen Lindsay,
Aye.
Andrea Usry,
Aye.
Marcia White,
Aye.
Nicole Harris,
Aye.
Ann Fusen.
Aye.
I think that's approved. We have one action item. Do I have a motion for approval of the truth and taxation notification notice of public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Marcia White,
Aye.
Nicole Harris,
Aye.
Stephen Lindsay,
Aye.
Kelly Ropers, Ann Fusen,
Aye.
Andrea Usry.
Aye.
That has passed. Now I have a real hard question for you. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Andrea Usry,
Aye.
Stephen Lindsay,
Aye.
Kelly Ropers,
Aye.
Marcia White,
Aye.
Ann Fusen,
Aye.
Nicole Harris.
Aye.
We have adjourned the meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Come on to the stage to have some cookies, because there's enough for everybody to have a whole.